His name, Merlin.
What's going on, knights, lords, ladies, sorcerers, enchantresses, and all creatures across the land of Ambion? My name's V. I'll be hosting, of course, Merlin Weekly with you all, as we continue on with part 2 of the season opener of Season 5, Arthur's Bane. Now then, let us get started with style. Where we begin from where we left off in part 1 is, of course, spoiler territory from stuff I didn't cover because I didn't want to cover it in part 1. But let's just say Merlin fucked up, and now he and Arthur are now being towed away to be slaves for Morgana as they're going through the cold, and Mordred is there because, of course, Mordred's there in the end of the series. He has to be. It's his destiny. With that being the case, a lot of bombs have been dropping, such as Sci-Fi not being interested in Merlin. I don't think so. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. We'll never truly know because no one wants to give Merlin a relationship. But she was in league with her father of Rodin, who was just trying to use his daughter as an infiltration spy to get information from Camelot to cause ambushes and cause a lot of disturbances for the kingdom in general, as well as try to kill off the Pendragon bloodline, even though that would still mean Morgana is a Pendragon by birthright. But we'll just ignore that plot thread because either way, Rodin would then have to kill Morgana. Still, with Rodin's plan unfolding because his daughter was found out as a spy and then was sentenced to be executed, and then he came in as a trap because that was what Queen Guinevere set up as a trap, and then he got stabbed because, of course, and then Sci-Fi was then given her dad's dying wish to then do the job because who doesn't want to do something for their father, to then try to run away and was never seen again. So there goes another woman that would have made Merlin a very happy wizard. Thanks a lot, TV. So, with that just being the wrap-up plot thread of one thing, another thing that happened was the Diamir, a creature that's been hinted at throughout the entire episode from part 1 and part 2 as the key to all knowledge. However, it's the last of its kind, and it's mostly been spending its time being an awful CGI abomination while trying to cure Gawain, who got his ass kicked because he wanted to break away from being a slave, to then trying to find out information as to why they were slaves in the first place. Because why shouldn't you have knowledge about why you're there? So then with the Diamir just trying to heal him, talk to him, and then eventually talk to Merlin as HeyItsMeChriss. After he gets his ass kicked for something that he was involved in, he then decides to divulge what the real Arthur's Bane truly is, which is, dun dun dun, Arthur himself. Still, yes, Arthur is his own Bane. What does that mean for everybody? Same thing that's always been. Arthur is his own problem. He will get himself killed more times than not, and Merlin will have to save him, but when it's finally down to it, Arthur's own hubris and brazen nature will be his downfall. Again. With that being the case, we then go back to the main storyline, which is involving Arthur, Merlin, and Mordred, because of course, Mordred is trying to prove to Merlin that he's not a bad guy, even though he's in league with the slavers, but that's because everyone's got to get a job doing something. Some people get jobs trying to till soil, some people become physicians, other people work with slavers. It's all about the paycheck, baby. You can't be mad about those times. It's like one of the 5 careers you could have if you weren't royalty. That and prostitution, but who wants a male prostitute back then because of all the AIDS and shit like that? Being the case, though, with Mordred trying to prove his case, Arthur's just trying to be the benefit of the doubt, being like, I saved this kid's life, he has a good head on his shoulders, I like him. Merlin's just like, I can't trust him. I can't tell you why, but I can't trust him. It's all about the whole destiny of Arthur will die at the hands of a druid. But that could be anyone at this point. There are so many druids introduced in the show, we have no idea which druid will be the druid. For all we know, the audience at home will have one druid at their family table that will be the killer of Merlin's best friend Arthur. We don't know. We will never know. Of course we will know because of the series finale in general, but we'll get there slowly. So, with that being the case, where Merlin's trying to prove himself to say that Mordred is a bad guy, Arthur is still just like, I'm gonna focus mostly on saving my men, which he does by Metal Gear Soliding that shit, going in with his own unique disguises, probably had a box on hand, just going in there, didn't have the whoop sound effect go off when he was trying to free all of his men. Then they went on a killing spree of all the slavers, and then eventually Arthur got found out by Morgana because Aethusa, the dragon that Arthur wanted to execute when he was a mere little egg, but Merlin saved because he's a good guy, is now the most anorexic dragon I've ever seen in his youth, just trying to kill them all, and Merlin trying to subdue the dragon through talking instead of through killing. And then Arthur gets found out by his half-sister Morgana, as she's gone full-blown C-word, and Mordred's just over there just like, hi, I'm here, I'm still in the plot, I'm important though, right? I'm very important though, right? Right, guys? Guys? Yes? Oh, okay. Where Morgana's just stabbing up her brother a lot, which is something you do. And then just trying to torture him to death, which is something you do. And then finally, when Merlin comes out of nowhere, she's just like, throw it to the wall, as you do. To then just be like, there's no escaping now, Arthur. I finally won. I'm the HCIC. I'm not going to say what the first C stands for, but it's the head C in charge. Oh, joyous joys, how does this all end for Morgana other than being stabbed in the back by Mordred, because Mordred's just like, I am magical, I can hide my magic, and Arthur's right, because Morgana is cray-cray. And so he then becomes Sir Mordred, becoming part of the Round Table, which he does in Arthurian lore. And now Arthur, Merlin, Mordred, the whole kingdom of Camelot have now gotten to relax. Or did they? As the end credits before the end credits show Morgana and Aethusa leaving with their heads held low, as they're just trying to now plot their next move. Or at least Morgana is. Aethusa is just like, can someone feed me? I'm hungry. To then lead into a sort of hinting towards the next episode, which is going to be one of my least favorites, but we'll get there next week. As for Arthur's Bane, here's why last time I said that this season is kind of very muddled in my memory about why it's an important season. And it's not really for bad reasons, just for reasons of you have so many plot threads that you need to have tied up that it becomes sort of a muddled mess as to, is this what it was truly being led up to? Episode 3 being a huge defining moment as to a good reason why the plot threads need to be tied up at that point instead of how they were previously. This time, however, just trying to introduce a plot thread that's been hinted out throughout the entire series, and then the finale is supposed to be leading up into something of subversion after subversion after subversion that leads you into just like, okay. So it starts off great. It starts off wonderfully. A lot of the early episodes that you guys are going to be seeing from me are going to be some highlights as to the best writing that you will see for a final season. Mostly because that was all the budget that they were allowed to do. And I kind of chalked it up to how the executives placed it and how the actors felt about it, because if you heard a lot of the actors saying they felt like they've gotten older, they don't know how to continue the story, and all that sort of stuff, it's kind of in that range, if you get what I mean. But then you get the other sort of episodes where it's a mixed bag leading up to the finale that is, it's hard. That's why when it comes to Arthur's Bane, even though it starts off well with good CGI for some, and one bad example of CGI, great writing for some things, bad writing for others, great character introductions for some people that have come into the season or have come back into the series in general, and then bad ways to introduce characters that pretty much serve no purpose other than to just be there for the sake of plot reasons instead of just like, let's build up an actual lore with them because they're original characters. It gives that whole mixed bag of, okay, is this what we're doing now? Is this what we're trying to procure? I don't understand, and I want clarification for so many reasons. But we'll get into all that stuff next week. So I'll see you guys in all of that magical glory for more Merlin Weekly.